Any idiot can say something isn't real, but it takes a certain amount of intellectual honesty to explain why it isn't real.
He starts with this idea of a big bang coming. Talk about a big lie.
Why is it such a colossal falsehood then, Ken? Could it be because you were well aware that embracing even a fraction of the concept of evolution would completely shatter your entire belief system and jeopardize your primary source of income? Instead, you opt to persistently proclaim the fallacy that evolution is a fabrication, a lie, if you will, which itself is a lie. Naughty, naughty, Kent. You shouldn't make baseless accusations while doing exactly what you were accusing others of doing. Please subscribe.
In short, the Big Bang says that all the current and past matter in the universe came into existence at the same time, 13.8 billion years ago. Really? You expect me to believe that?
No, I don't, and neither does anyone else. It's quite evident that individuals acquainted with your beliefs are well aware that you only consider something as valid if it originates directly from the Bible. And this selective approach to accepting ideas is rather concerning, especially coming from someone who professes to be a scientist.
All the matter in the universe just poofed into existence.
Ah yes, here we go. Circling back to the Bible. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. An intriguing narrative, Kent. However, let's not forget that it remains nothing more than a captivating tale. Now, if I may inquire, how exactly did God orchestrate the creation of the heavens and the earth? The specifics seem rather elusive, don't they? Was it akin to casting a magic spell? You know, Harry Potter style? Or was God physically present on Earth? Oh, but hang on a second. That couldn't have been the case, could it? Because as per your own beliefs, there was no here on Earth until God deliberately brought it into existence.
You know how much matter there is in the universe? Let's see. Discover magazine, right down here. The universe burst into something from absolutely nothing. Zero, nada. Remember, if you tell a big lie, people will believe it.
Well, aren't you just the connoisseur of colossal lies? I've got to say, Kent, your expertise in believing the grandest fib of all time is truly awe-inspiring. And speaking of expertise, you certainly excel at cherry-picking tiny fragments of information and then presenting them without a single shred of context.
Talk about dumb. You guys actually believe this?
Oh, Kent, belief doesn't come into it. It's all about possessing the capacity to embrace the overwhelming evidence that science presents. And that, my dear interlocutor, appears to be your biggest challenge. Just how audacious does someone have to be to confidently assert, in a public forum no less, that the entirety of science is wrong, while a book written thousands of years ago holds the ultimate truth? The level of arrogance required is truly astounding.
Alan Guth said, the observable universe could have evolved from an infinitesimal region. That means a real tiny dot. It's then tempting to go one step further and speculate that the entire universe evolved from literally nothing. Alan, you are certifiably insane.
Yeah, says the man who thinks he's never been wrong about anything ever. Well, call me old-fashioned, but I would rather accept what a physicist tells me about the origins of the universe than a Bible basher from Alabama whose sole mission in life is to skillfully deceive people about the inception of mankind. Truly a paragon of reliability and wisdom, aren't you?
Who's your daddy? Where'd you come from? A. Alan says, a dot which came from nothing. Oh, that's where you came from, Alan? Remember, people are more likely to believe a big lie than a small one.
Yeah, you said, Kent. Maybe that's the approach you're going for. And I have to ask, what's the deal with your fascination around Adolf Hitler? Is he like some sort of idol or role model to you? I mean, I've heard from my source at Dinosaur Adventureland, who is very real for anybody watching this now that may be wondering, and no, I would never, ever reveal who they are and put them in any danger, because that's what they believe they would be in if Kent ever found out who they were. And my contact says it's not exactly the best place to be. So, could it be that you've adopted some of Hitler's leadership techniques as your own? What an interesting choice, Kent, I must say.
In the early years, everything was made of gas, mostly hydrogen and helium. Oh, everything came from gas. Right.
It is right, Kent, and some of us are still full of it, aren't we? Do you know what the most active chemical compounds are in the universe? Oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. And you'll never guess what the most common chemical elements are in human beings. Oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen. But I'm guessing that's nothing more than a strange coincidence. Oh, there's also calcium, phosphorus, potassium, and sulfur. But the point I'm trying to make is that we can explain things with a high degree of accuracy. What does the Bible explain, Ken? Oh, that's right. How to kill babies, rape women, and talk to a bush.
How about this one? Textbook right there on the shelf. How the universe was born 18 to 20 billion years ago. All the matter in the universe. Would that include the Pacific Ocean and the Rocky Mountains and all of Earth, all of the moons, everything, all the planets, all the stars?
Now, I can never figure out whether you're just a complete moron, a compulsive liar, or both. It's probably both, isn't it? Nobody is saying that the Big Bang happened and everything was exactly as it is now. That's just what idiot creationists say in a vain attempt to try and discredit science. But it ain't working, Kent. That's the thing about science, Kent. It relies heavily on evidence for the claims it makes. And that evidence then gets examined to establish the validity of any claims made.
Smaller than a period on this page. Can you believe they cut down a tree to print that? Where are you save the planet guys when it comes to wasting pages on these stupid lies? Huh? Come on now, where are you?
I've got to say it, or I'm not going to sleep tonight. The more content I make about Kent Hovind, the more I'm starting to realize that he's a pretty pathetic individual. Imagine if your entire life revolved around lying to the people you claim to care about in order to line your own pockets. A newsflash: nobody believes anything you say. You're a laughing stock, pal. A joke. A man that bullies people into believing what you believe. Well, when I say nobody, obviously I haven't included other young Earth creationists in that. They'll believe anything that the Bible says. It's quite sad, actually, when you think about it. What a way to live your life.
It all began in a big bang. Let's see. Why can we see stars 46 billion light years away if it's only 13 billion years old?
Is that really your question? I cannot wait to hear what you say about this.
Fair question. The light that travels the longest gets stretched by the greatest amount. Oh, so it's speeding up. And the object, where's the gas coming from to run that machine? The light that emitted that light is now at a greater distance. We can see objects 46 billion light years away because of the expanding universe. Oh, this is the big think. You really expect me to believe that?
Not really, no. I expect you to shut the f up and listen. You might even learn something. The reason we can see stars 46 billion light years away when the universe is only 13.8 billion years old is because over time, space has been expanding. So the distant objects that give off the light 13.8 billion years ago have since moved further away from us. And today those distant objects are a little bit more than 46 billion light years away. The universe is still expanding. The Big Bang was an event, a rapid expansion, not an explosion in the way you think. And you can misrepresent it all you want, Kent. Facts will always be facts, regardless of who believes them.
I like going up on the sand dune watching the stars. It's amazing here. You won't believe it. You can look at the stars and say, wow, what a mighty God we serve.
And once again, Kent, saying it doesn't make it true. Why do you feel the need to serve anyone? I'll take my chances at life without having to bow my knee and live a life of servitude to a maniac. But I feel like that's me going off on a tangent. We are here to show people how completely insane the creationist belief is. And I think it's going pretty well so far. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Because like Kent's God, I see everything. Well, I see every comment anyway. And just very quickly before we move on, I want to say a massive thank you to Janine. I won't say your last name, I just want. For clicking on my Amazon wish list and sending me this swanky new microphone that you can't see, but here's a picture. Does my voice sound extra smexy? Thanks, Janine.
But some of you atheists look at the stars and say, wow, that's billions of years ago for a Big Bang.
Do we? Well, I can only speak for myself, but when I look up at the night sky and see the stars, all I think is tidy, I can see the stars. It really isn't that deep, Kent, but I suppose now that you bring it up, it is pretty amazing to think that when we see the light coming from the stars in the night sky, that it left those stars billions of years ago. Thanks for reminding me how mind-blowingly amazing the universe is, Ken.
You believe the big lie. How much matter is there in the universe? How much matter? Let's see. How much material? Well, let's see. Dark matter is 27%. 68% of the universe is dark energy. So it adds up less than 5% of the universe is what we observe, is what they're saying. From NASA. Oh, you got to believe them.
Well, you haven't got to believe NASA, but to be fair, they published it, and I would imagine that before publishing it, they checked it out first. Only an idiot would believe something on faith alone, wouldn't they?
Well, I got a question for you big bangers. If there was a big bang and all the particles are flying out in space, faster than the speed of light. I taught math, algebra, geometry, and trig. I got a question for you. If there's a big bang, the particles would be getting further apart the longer you wait, wouldn't they?
Their size is controlled by the strength of the fundamental forces that hold atoms and subatomic particles together, and as far as we know, that hasn't changed. Instead, it's the space between galaxies that's increasing. They're getting further apart as space itself expands. Now, I'm quite happy to admit that I am not a scientist or a science teacher. See, Kent, we do have something in common. We're both not science teachers. But it was very easy to find that out and then verify it using other sources. So, other than being a compulsive liar, what's your excuse for not knowing that, Mr. Science Teacher? And if you want to admit that you just don't know, that's fine, because neither did I until I looked it up.
Every second after the Big Bang, the particles would have less gravitational attraction.
So as the universe expanded and cooled, fundamental particles combined into protons and neutrons and then into atoms, almost all of which were hydrogen and helium atoms. And this took several 100,000 years. Now, here's where the plot thickens and the deviations in symmetry come into play. The very small deviations from absolute symmetry were then enough to trigger the collapse of the cooling atoms into gravitationally bound clouds and then into the first stars and galaxies. But this process was very slow, a bit like you, Kent. And the first stars, called population 3 stars, took hundreds of millions of years to form.
It's not common sense. I don't know how they don't get it.
Well, it would seem that common sense isn't all that common in the creationist world.
The various planets are thought to have formed from the solar nebula, a disc-shaped cloud of gas. Wait.
Hey, that's my line. Wait. It's just occurred to me that Kent is doing exactly what flat earthers do all the time. He's trying to disprove the Big Bang Theory by showing us all the information we need to be able to accept that the Big Bang Theory is the most likely mechanism for the formation of the universe. You know, like Phuket Word did in the last video. But I suppose that if we let him waffle on for long enough, then he's bound to say something really stupid, isn't he? Too late.
The Big Bang lie is so stupid and so unscientific, you have to wonder how anyone with one functioning brain cell could be duped into believing it.
I don't know, Kent. Maybe because it's supported by an astonishing amount of evidence, and despite the fact that the Big Bang only occurred at one instant in time, a very long time ago, that leftover glow known as the cosmic microwave background continues to persist. Can you show us any evidence that God did it? Is there anything he left behind? You know, like a hammer or a screwdriver or something that supports that he did it all? No? Just us again.
Questions. Where did space come from? Where did time come from? Where did all this matter come from? Where did the energy come from to move all these particles?
So a universe popping into existence out of nothing, as Kent likes to put it, was such a difficult to understand concept that even scientists had to be dragged kicking and screaming to the idea. But the evidence is compelling. The basic idea that the universe began hot and dense that wasn't even funny. and has been expanding and cooling ever since is incontrovertible. Sorry, Kent, big word there. It means something has so much supporting evidence it is not able to be denied or disputed. Because unlike young Earth creationists, our explanation of how the universe began doesn't need to be translated or interpreted in any way. That's just how it went. And the fact that you don't believe it makes no difference whatsoever.
Takes gas to run a machine, doesn't it? Where did the laws come from? Who made the laws of centrifugal force, inertia, Boyle's law, gas law? Who made these laws, huh?
Who made the laws of physics? Seriously? Well, there was a lot of different people who actually existed at some point in time. Isaac Newton, for example, formulated the 3 laws of motion, which formulated the relationship between motion and objects, and also the law of universal gravitation, the latter of which could be used to explain the behavior not only of falling bodies on the Earth, but also planets and other celestial bodies. You do like a stupid question, Kent, don't you?
Star formation. Stars form inside relatively dense concentrations of interstellar gas. Stop right there. You talk about a big lie. I like watching your nose grow, you atheist. Listen, there's not going to be any clouds of gas. They're all getting further apart. Think about it.
Excellent advice, Kent. And scientists, real scientists I mean, have been doing exactly that for thousands of years. That's why we know so much about things. It's easy to dish out advice, Kent. Maybe you should think about taking some of it yourself and start thinking about how incredibly stupid you sound when you try to claim that you were right and every scientist ever is wrong. Now, I used to worry about making videos like this. I used to think I wasn't smart enough, or that people like Kent Hovind were so much smarter than me. But then I realized any idiot can listen to or read a piece of information and say, that's wrong. But try finding a creationist who can actually back up what they say about how the universe began. It's like trying to find a unicorn turd.
Galaxies. One says that galaxies were born when vast clouds of gas and dust collapsed under their own gravitational pull. Stop. Do you stop? This is a fairy tale. Long ago and far away, all the clouds got together and formed planets.
I rest my case. Now then, when I am making a video about a person who I believe to be mistaken or just good old-fashioned wrong, I spend hours and hours reading, and it does my turban in. I don't like reading, but I do it so that I can confirm that they are wrong. I then look at why they are wrong and try my best to explain why. Because as I am sure we are all aware, any idiot can call something a fairy tale, which is why that's the only thing Kent ever really says. Have you all noticed though that he literally never offers an alternative or a more compelling argument? What a loser.
See, whenever you hear that millions of years ago, that's your warning. Fairy tale coming next. Millions of years ago. Stop right there. Close the book, unless you want to read a fairy tale.
If I wanted to read a fairy tale, I'd read the Bible. You know, that book that you and every other young Earth creationist think has all the answer to all of life's questions.
You can't get any planets, or you couldn't get 2 specks of dust to get together to form enough gravity to start collecting more. They're all racing away from each other faster than the speed of light.
Well, explain to us why then, Ken. For the love of monkey nuts, say something useful. I'll say this one more time. Any idiot can say something isn't real, but it takes a certain amount of intellectual honesty to explain why it isn't real. Which probably explains why you never do it, because let's face it, you don't even have normal honesty, let alone intellectual honesty. I can't believe that there are actual human beings on the face of this planet that believe anything this complete moron says.
Why do stars evolve? They don't. They can't even form.
Well, Mr. Hovind, you'll be surprised to hear that scientists have observed in unprecedented detail the birth of a massive star within a dark cloud core, about 10,000 light years from Earth. And the remarkable observations allowed us to get the first really in-depth look at what was going on within this cloud. And researchers from Cardiff University, Wales, said we wanted to see how monster stars form and grow, and we certainly achieved our aim. One of the sources we found is an absolute giant, the largest protostellar core ever spotted in the Milky Way galaxy. But don't tell me, Kent, they are liars as well. Jesus, Kent, I'm actually starting to feel sorry for you. Before you make a claim, it might be a good idea to check first.
Definite factor in getting a lie believed is the size.
There it is again. What the hell, Ken? What the hell's next? You're going to grow a tiny little moustache and call it a day? Yeah, we know. For some bizarre reason, you like to use Adolf Hitler as a citation. Why? I've got no idea, but you keep doing it over and over again. I bet he's your desktop wallpaper as well, isn't he? And your phone screensaver. And listen, there's nothing wrong with having a man crush, but pick someone nicer. See you all in the next one. Love you, bye. Except for you, Ken. You know you can just go f*** yourself.
Alright, watch this next. But before you do, make sure you subscribe. By order of the Creaky Blinder.